In this video, I am giving information about the most productive and most beautiful aquatic plant, water lettuce, which is um, medicinally important as anti-inflammatory and antifungal, possessing antifungal properties, and also used in a traditional treatment for the ringworms. And the it is currently very important plant as a potential source for the wastewater treatment plants, and you can say in the especially useful in the phytoremediation. And I will give information about its um, distribution and some important uses. Water lettuce, the scientific name is the Pistia stratiotes. Pistia is a genus of aquatic plant in the arum family, Araceae, means monocotyledons. The monocotyledons, I will briefly give information. Monocotyledons, you see in the monocotyledon plants parallel venation. In opposite contrasting to the dicotyledons, there is reticulate venation, and this plant belongs to the monocotyledons and belongs to the family Araceae. And the single species, it possesses a single species, Stratiotes, and it comprises you can say the Pistia stratiotes, a single or a monotypic species, and commonly it is called the water cabbage, water lettuce, Nile cabbage, or a silk flower, and its native distribution is uncertain, but is probably pantropical plant, means tropical regions mostly occur in the tropical regions, and it was described from the Nile near Lake Victoria in Africa. You see, the Nile River is the very longest river, and it is now present either naturally or through the human introduction in nearly all tropical and subtropical freshwater bodies, freshwater ways, and is considered invasive species because it is spread rapidly, and so it is considered as an invasive plant. And Pistia stratiotes is by habit is a perennial monocotyledonous plant with a thick, soft leaves, like a cabbage leaves, and but looks more glossy and light in color, and form a rosette, means in group, leaves arranged in the group, and it floats on the surface of the water body. You can say the river, but slow moving river, or lakes and ponds, and its roots hanging somewhere beneath the floating leaves. Leaves के just down में beneath में इसमें leaves roots होते हैं, hanging roots, and you can see in the this video the leaves with many small rootlets, and leaves of this plant is 2 to 15 centimeter long and are light green in color with parallel venation. I already told you about the monocotyledon plant. The reticulate venation is present in the dicotyledon, but here in monocotyledons, the parallel venations means leaves run parallelly, straightly, and in this plant is the spongy parenchyma present, with a large intercellular spaces in the leaves, and that adds the benefits in plant in floating, because its habit is the floating on the water surface due to the presence of the large intercellular spaces in the leaves. And spadix is the inflorescence of this plant, and flower is the dioecious, means both male and female present in separate plant, not in monoecious. Monoecious, you see the more male and female on the same plant, but dioecious is just opposite. The male and female are the different plants, and flowers hidden in the middle among the leaves, and ovary is the monocarpellary, means ovary from the fruit and seed, and this is a monocarpellary. In some plant bicarpellary, tricarpellary, but here is the monocarpellary in this monotypic genus, and 2 to 8 stamens with 2 to 8 staminate flowers with 2 stamens, and plant undergoes asexual reproduction, means the plant regenerates through the asexual reproduction by propagating through the stolon, stolon body, the very cut part from the new plants. That is called asexual reproduction, and those sexually it is, but generally it regenerate in the nature by asexual reproductions, and the species dispel species can give the optimal growth in 20 to 30 degrees Celsius of the water temperature, but can endure up to the 35 degrees Celsius of the water temperature, and species require slightly acidic water in the pH range 6.5 to that is 7.2 optimal, and but do not grow in the colder temperature, because it is a plant of the tropical and subtropical regions, and the water lettuce is among the most productive freshwater aquatic plant, and considered invasive species, and it is also considered useful plants for the consumption as food, especially there are records of the plant being utilized as a famine food. Famine means in extreme shortage of the food in some regions, people used to use this plant for eating purposes, and leaves also looks like the cabbage leaves, and the great in India, the great famine of 1800 between 1876 to 1878 occurred. There are records of these plants being utilized as a food, and it is also medicinally important, useful in the treatment of various diseases, for the use of various purposes throughout the Asia and Africa. In Nigeria, African country, the dried leaves are powdered and applied to the wounds and sores of disinfection, and similarly similar use of this plant is present in the Indian traditional medicines, where powder of the leaf is applied to the skin infections, as it is possesses anti-inflammatory and antifungal properties, and also useful as a traditional medicine for the ringworms. And the most important is currently these days plants, many plants are planted for the phytoremediation purposes, because the pollution is spreading throughout the wetlands and water bodies. So it is very considered important plants, the potential plants for the wastewater treatment, and the roots and leaves of this plant have been found to absorb excess nutrients and heavy metals such as zinc, cadmium, and chromium containing in contaminated water bodies. And it can be grown also in the water gardens to reduce the harmful algal blooms, and in eutrophic conditions, means a deposition of more minerals, and it is useful in that condition. And importantly, especially for the environmental remediation purposes, very currently used. And in Hindi, I will give a brief about its habits and distributions. Pistia अरम परिवार यानी एरेसी कुल में जो फैमिली है में एक जलीय पौधों की एक प्रजाति है. जलीय पौधे में जो जल पानी में उगते हैं मुख्यतः. यह पिस्टिया जनजाति एकमात्र प्रजाति है. मैंने पिस्टिया जीनस की एक सिंगल स्पीसीज है. इसको बोलते हैं एकमात्र प्रजाति, जो कि मोनोटिपिक यानी कि सिंगल स्पीसीज बियरिंग प्लांट है. और इसमें जो है अलगाव को दर्शाती है. इसके व्यवस्थित भीतर परिवार के अंदर यानी फैमिली के अंदर यह मोनोटिपिक प्लांट है. और इसमें शामिल जो है एकल जो मोनोटिपिक स्पीसीज है पिस्टिया स्ट्रियोटस, वो अक्सर लोग जो है जल गोभी, जल सलाद, नील गोभी और सेल फ्लावर के नाम से भी इसको जाना जाता है. और इसका मूल वितरण यानी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अनिश्चित माना गया है, लेकिन फिर भी संभवतः यह उष्णकटिबंधीय है यानी कि ट्रॉपिकल प्लांट है. और इसका पहली बार जो है वर्णन अफ्रीका में विक्टोरिया झील के पास नील नदी पर पाए जाने वाले पौधों से किया गया था. मीन्स वहाँ मिला है. और यह प्राकृतिक रूप में जो है सभी उष्णकटिबंधीय और उपोष्ण मीन्स सब ट्रॉपिकल रीजन में ताज़े जल मार्गों में, ताज़े जल मीन्स जो वाटर जो जैसे पॉन्ड्स में, रिवर्स में और मतलब नदी में और नालों में जो होता है जहाँ पे शुद्ध पानी वहाँ पे दिखता है, जल मार्गों में मौजूद है. और लेकिन इस आक्रामक प्रजाति के साथ यह आक्रामक यानी कि फैलता है एकदम से तेज़ी से. और यह इससे जो है मच्छरों के प्रजनन का निवास स्थान भी माना जाता है. ये थोड़ा हार्मफुल इफेक्ट है इसका कि मच्छरों को बढ़ावा देता है. लेकिन यह जो है इन्वायरमेंटल के पर्पज़ से बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट भी है, क्योंकि इसमें जो है वाटर बॉडी से कंटेमिनेशन को ख़त्म करता है, एब्जॉर्ब करता है. कैडमियम, जिंक जैसे हैवी मेटल्स को यह जो है सॉइल से और वाटर बॉडी से जो है ये एब्जॉर्ब कर ले.